Hey everyone, Mark here from the Angular team. I'm overjoyed to share that Angular v18 is here and it's going to improve the developer experience for teams of all sizes. We're here at Google's Bayview campus in Mountain View, California, and we have so many fantastic updates to share that you definitely want to stick around because things are about to get awesome. With each release, we aim to improve Angular to better serve the developer community, as well as find ways to move the web forward. We've launched features like template-level lazy loading with the new defer syntax, more ergonomic control flow, improved reactivities with Angular signals, support for server-side rendering and hydration, and so many more improvements. Our goal has been and will continue to be building a framework that empowers developers to build robust web apps that scale. Now today, we'll be sharing details about what we've launched in v18 and how we're thinking about the future of Angular. Speaking of future, developers have been asking for updates on optional zones in Angular, but don't zone out just yet. We know you want updates, so here's one of our team leads, Alex Rickabaugh, with the latest on optional zones in Angular. Alex, over to you.
The team has been hard at work on several long-term investments in both the performance and developer experience of Angular. One of the most vital projects has been our redesign of Angular's reactivity system. One of the primary goals, and one of the most ambitious, is to make Zone.js optional for Angular applications. I'm Alex, the technical lead for the Angular framework at Google, and I'm excited to share with you some insight into our progress and the work that remains. Let's start by talking a little bit about the goals. Why do we think zoneless Angular is worth building, and what's the future of Zone.js? On Angular, backwards compatibility is one of our main values. There are millions of Angular applications which are built with zones, including thousands at Google alone, and we're committed to supporting this way of using Angular for the foreseeable future. At the same time, experience has shown us that as applications scale, the hands-off approach to reactivity used by Zone.js starts to show some weaknesses. It becomes more challenging to maintain and safeguard performance or to debug reactivity. And as new web APIs are added, the cost of loading and initializing zones is growing. Given these challenges, we decided to invest in a new reactivity system that will scale to meet the developer experience and performance needs of the next 10 years of Angular applications. Changing a core part of the framework like this is a long-term project, with features and fixes landing in different releases along the way. Let's talk about some of the work we've done already. Last year in v16, we introduced Angular developers to our 3 new reactive primitives: signal, computed, and effect. These APIs are at the heart of our new reactivity model. With them, developers can have confidence that Angular will understand changes made to their application state and update the UI correctly and efficiently. In v17, signal and computed became stable APIs. Angular is ready for signals. In addition to the core primitives, we've been working closely with the teams behind the community state management libraries that you know and love, like NGRX, NGXS, RxAngular, and several others. We've been working together to ensure the Signal APIs support their use cases, and integrations like NGRX's Signal Store exemplify the fruits of this collaboration. These APIs give us a strong foundation on which to build a new reactivity model for Angular that doesn't require zones. When you communicate state changes to Angular, for example by setting a signal that's used in a template, the framework will schedule change detection automatically without the need for Zone.js. But what about existing applications, some of which can have thousands of components which are not yet using signals? We want to make sure it's possible for these applications to switch to zoneless without needing to migrate everything to signals. And of course, we want the rich ecosystem of Angular libraries to be zoneless compatible without major changes as well. For the past 6 months, we've been working towards this goal, building out a new mode for change detection that balances correctness, performance, developer experience, and backwards compatibility. Getting this right takes time, and we've been working with different applications at Google to experiment and test these ideas, some of which are already running in production. In v18, we expect to release 2 major pieces of this puzzle. One piece is what we've been calling hybrid change detection, which we'll be enabling by default for all v18 applications. In this mode, even if Zone.js doesn't patch an API, or if changes are made outside of the Angular zone, Angular will still listen to signals and other notifications about changes and schedule change detection. Hybrid change detection will allow developers, especially library authors, to write code that works regardless of whether Zone.js is used or not. And secondly, in v18, we'll have an experimental API to disable Zone.js integration entirely and run applications fully in Zoneless mode. This API will be experimental as not all parts of Angular work smoothly with Zoneless today. We're still in the process of updating libraries like Forms and Material, for example. Releasing this API early will allow us to collect your feedback and gather even more data on which patterns are working with Zoneless and where we might need to focus more effort. Beyond v18, we have even more exciting projects in the pipeline. We'll be working towards a full developer preview of Zoneless, including compatibility with Angular's own packages as well as popular libraries in the ecosystem. We're also not finished integrating signals with the core framework. Forms and Router, for example, will be updated to expose state as signals where it makes sense. And finally, Signal components will unlock the full developer experience and performance benefits of signals. Through our work on Signals, Zoneless, and across our other projects, we are committed to the stability and reliability of Angular as a foundation for your applications, while we work to prepare the framework for the next 10 years of web development.
I bet you all are in the zone after that last update. Thanks, Alex. Okay, you know what else is important? Hydration. And here to tell you more about hydration in Angular and the latest on the Angular server-side story is Alon from the team. Go check that out. I have some lights to light up. Okay, let's go. So many lights, all the way to the top, by myself. It's just me.
I am Alan from the Angular team, and I'm here to let you know what we've been working on with server-side rendering and hydration in Angular. Let's get started. Angular continues to innovate for its users by bringing modern, exciting updates to SSR in the framework. Today is no exception. In Angular version 18, we are launching some great new features. The first is enhanced DevTools support for hydration in Angular. Now, developers can visualize hydration information using Angular DevTools in the browser. With the Show Hydration Overlays button, you can clearly see which components are hydrated, which were skipped, and which encountered an error. The Components panel also shows a breakdown of what went wrong. It includes hydration errors to more easily identify how to fix them. We think you'll really enjoy this new feature. We are also happy to announce hydration support for all Angular material components. You can now take advantage of performance benefits of hydration in your applications that use Angular material components. These components will no longer be skipped during hydration. We have an update on a much requested feature. In version 18, we are adding hydration support for i18n blocks. This feature is in developer preview. Before I tell you more about what's coming in the future, there's one more feature I want to announce. Before an application is hydrated, users may interact with UI controls, and as a developer, you don't want to lose those events. Well, as part of our ongoing collaboration with the Wiz team at Google, we are announcing Event Replay, powered by JS Section. Events will be captured and replayed at the right time once the application is hydrated. Event Replay is now available in developer preview. Here's a glance at what we are working on next. We are working on providing out-of-the-box support for selecting a rendering mode for a given route. This means providing an easy hook for choosing which routes are rendered client-side, server-side, or at build time. We are also working on improving the SSG experience for parameterized routes. Alright, that's it for me, but there's so much more to learn about in the latest release of Angular. So check out the Angular YouTube channel for more on what's in store. Now go and G-update.
Thanks for those updates, Alon. The Angular server-side story just continues to evolve, and you, the developer community, continue to receive the benefits. Now, would you like to know more about Angular Material 3? I bet you would. So, Miles, why don't you let the people know what we've been working on?
The moment you've been waiting for is here. Angular now has support for Material 3. My name is Miles, and I'm an engineer on the Angular team. Let's learn more about the latest changes for Angular Material. In Angular version 18, we're making the recently added Material 3 theming APIs stable. These APIs allow you to use the same components you know and love with an updated visual style based on Material Design 3. Here are some of the new features that are available with our M3 themes. Simplified theme styles based entirely on CSS variables that don't add selector specificity. More granular theme customizations based on CSS variables. And a more flexible API for applying color variants to components. To use Material 3 in your app, create an M3 theme in Sass using mat.define theme, or generate a theme using ngGenerate. Then pass the new theme to the same Angular Material Sass mixins you're already using to apply your M2 theme. Along with the great features I've already talked about, we also offer Sass APIs to read colors, typography, and other properties from the M3 theme so that you can write your own custom components that work with M3 themes. While we're excited to provide this new option for theming your components, we also want to emphasize that our M2 themes will continue to be available alongside our M3 themes. We hope that these changes open up more possibilities for you to customize Angular Material components to meet your needs. For those who need even more flexibility, we're looking forward to extracting more of the Angular Material behavior into fully customizable CDK components in the near future. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Our Material 3 support will only continue to grow, enabling you and your teams to build fantastic UIs for your applications to best serve your users. The Angular v18 release is filled with so many features that we will be here all day if we tried to cover them all. But instead, let's head over to our very own Emma Tversky for a quick roundup of more new features that you can get started using today.
Angular v18 is here. And besides the big updates, there are a lot of great little features, bug fixes, and incremental improvements to help you and your teams build the next generation of web apps. Emma here from the Angular team, and I'm going to tell you about the great features launched in this release. Let's do this. Angular v18 is shipping with new APIs to further improve the developer experience in the framework. First up are our new signal-based APIs. In v17, we introduced Angular Signals, a system that granularly tracks how and where your state is used throughout an application, allowing the framework to optimize rendering updates. Now, we're on a path to fully signal-based components, and this release contains some of the building blocks developers will need to make that happen. First, we're introducing signal inputs. Signal inputs allow values to be bound from a parent component. Those values are exposed using a signal and can change during the lifecycle of your component. To help developers have a better time keeping data in sync with two-way binding, there's the new Model Input API. Model inputs are a special type of input that enable a component to propagate new values back to another component. When creating a component, you can define a model input similarly to how you create a standard input. Both types of inputs allow someone to bind a value into the property. However, model inputs allow the component author to write values into the property. In other respects, you can use model inputs the same way you use standard inputs. We know that developers have long wanted a type-safe, reactive way to interact with content children and view children in templates. We heard you loud and clear, and that's why we've built the new Signal Query APIs. The new approach exposes query results as signals, which mean that query results can be composed with other signals using computed or effect, and drive change detection. Additionally, the signal-based query system offers other benefits, like more predictable timing, simpler API surface, improved type safety, more accurate type inference, and lazier updates. The underlying query mechanism doesn't change much. Conceptually, Angular still creates singular child or plural children queries that target elements in a template or content. The difference is in the type of result and the exact timing of the result availability. These features bring v18 closer to our goal of signal-based components, but we're not stopping there. As Alex shared, v18 includes an experimental preview of Zoneless Angular. He did a great job sharing how we're thinking about the future developer experience of Zoneless Angular, and why our eventual goal is to make Zone.js fully optional. But we know that you want to see some code. V18 includes some incremental improvements that allow you to explore removing zones in your code starting today. Zones event coalescing is on by default in V18, and zone coalescing uses the same scheduler as Zoneless. Angular with Zone.js can be configured to schedule change detection even when the changes happen outside the Angular zone. This takes advantage of the Zoneless scheduler in existing Zone.js apps. And Angular material components in the CDK are Zoneless compatible. Zoneless is available as experimental in V18. To learn more about experimental Zoneless support, head to our guides on angular.dev. But that's not it. Here are some quick hits that are sure to make developing in Angular better. Developers can enjoy the latest features of TypeScript 5.4 in your applications. Update now for preserved narrowing enclosures following last assignments, the no-infer utility type, and a lot more. You can learn more about what these all mean in Microsoft's blog post announcing TypeScript 5.4. Also new, developers can now provide a default value for ng content. This allows you to have a placeholder for empty lists and other components with no current content. And what's that? We've closed our #1 most upvoted feature request on GitHub. Angular Forms introduced a new global observable you can subscribe to track changes around any abstract control and its children. You can now track all kinds of events like touched, dirty, etc., in addition to value and status, all through a single observable. You know what's even cooler? Most of these featurettes actually happened in a minor release leading up to today. That means you don't have to wait 6 months for the next enhancement to your Signal APIs, another step towards Zoneless, or one of your top voted issues being resolved. We've been talking a lot about the future of Angular, and you can find out more about what we've been working on by heading over to our public roadmap at angular.dev/roadmap. Be sure to ng update and check out our full changelog on GitHub for each and every feature, fix, and enhancement in V18.
Emma, thanks for those updates. I think the Angular community has a lot of new features they get to try out. Angular continues to be a fantastic tool for building web applications at scale with confidence. With all of the new features announced in Angular V18, developers have all the tools they need to build the next great web application.
Oh, I think I got it. I got it. I mean, of course I got it. Jessica here, assuming direct control over this stream to tell you about 2 more quick things. Number 1, all those puns from Mark in the script, they were me all along. Sorry. And number 2, I have 1 more feature to tell you about. With all the success of hydration, we thought maybe we could take things partially a bit further. That's right, we're working on partial hydration support in Angular. The goal of this is to allow you to very quickly, easily, intuitively, and declaratively specify portions of your application that you'd like to leave dehydrated, just like we did with deferrable views. And the best part about all this is we're going to be releasing it as part of, I'm losing the connection.
She is always doing stuff. It's my show. All right, friends, whatever you just heard, ignore all of that. But hey, thanks so much for coming to our special Angular event. We hope you enjoyed yourself, but hey, let us know what you think. Be sure to ng update, and as always, go build great apps. We'll see you the next time. Wait, you all are still here? Gotta get out of here. I gotta go home. Bye. Get out of here. Bye. Thanks for coming. Bye.